They say reality cracked for exactly 4 minutes and 13 seconds. A moment when shadows moved like liquid and light bent in ways it shouldn't. When it was over, 80,000 people had changed. The government calls them spatial manipulation anomalies. The media calls them powered individuals. They call themselves Parallaxers. I document their stories, not because I want to, but because they demand to be told. The shadows whisper them to me. The spaces between moments reveal them, and reality itself seems to be using my words as a blueprint for something larger. These are their stories, or maybe their warnings, or maybe they're prophecies of what's still to come. These are the Parallaxers. I should mention something about shadows before I tell you this story. Not the ordinary kind that follow you on sunny days. I mean the ones that move when they shouldn't. The ones with teeth. The ones that whisper secrets about what reality used to be. This account forced itself into my mind one night between heartbeats, appearing fully formed like a memory I never had. I found no historical record of the being called the Marionette, despite their supposed centuries of influence. It's as if something carefully erased every trace. Even more disturbing, while documenting this, I discovered passages in my drafts that I never wrote, all in their voice, describing events I couldn't possibly know about. The shadows in my office move strangely now, forming shapes like puppet strings. I'm starting to wonder if the Marionette isn't just a character I'm writing about, but something that's writing itself into existence through me.
The old theater's shadows have teeth tonight. I watch them crawl across the walls, twisting into shapes that shouldn't exist. Reality feels thin here, like tissue paper in the rain. 400 years of immortality teaches you to recognize when something's wrong with the world. This is wrong on a cosmic scale. Mikey hasn't moved from the orchestra pit in hours. Just sits there, staring at his hands like they belong to someone else. Blood still cakes his fingernails from when he tried to help Waylon. Poor kid doesn't understand. You can't piece someone back together when reality itself has torn them apart. We need to talk, I say, my voice echoing strangely in the dusty air. The acoustics are wrong. Everything's wrong. He doesn't look up.
About what? How I got everyone killed, or how I sent voodoo eyes to
somewhere he deserved to be. I move closer, shadows writhing in my wake. But that's not what we need to discuss. Something shifts in the darkness behind the stage. Not a normal shadow. This moves like oil on water, flowing against the light. I've been seeing more of them lately, ever since we lost the others. The Fellowship is planning something, I continue, watching Mikey's shoulders tense. Something big. I can feel it in the spaces between moments.
How can you tell?
I smile, though it feels wrong on my face. 4 centuries of pulling strings teaches you to recognize when someone else is tugging at reality's threads. Finally, he looks up. His eyes are red-rimmed, haunted. Good. Fear makes people pliable.
What do you want me to do?
I need you to look. I kneel beside him, all fatherly concern and hidden agendas. Use your connection to the shadow realm. Find them.
I can't.
His voice cracks.
After what happened the last time.
Waylon died because we weren't prepared. I squeeze his shoulder, feeling him flinch. Help me make sure it wasn't for nothing. The shadows behind me stretch, reaching. Hungry. Something's changing in the world. Not just here, but everywhere. I can taste it in the air, like copper and old pennies. Just a quick look, I promise, lies flowing smooth as silk. We need to know what they're planning. Mikey closes his eyes. The temperature drops. Reality holds its breath. The shadows move. Not like before. This is different. They don't just flow. They remember. I've seen this before, in scrolls hidden deep within the monastery's restricted section. Warnings about what existed before existence existed. The real reason the Fellowship formed in the first place. Then Mikey screams. It tears through octaves that shouldn't exist, making reality ripple like a pond in the rain. Blood streams from his nose, black in the strange light. The shadows dance and twist, forming patterns that hurt to look at. When it stops, he's shaking.
I saw them, the Fellowship. They're preparing something, a ritual.
Ice forms in my gut. Not fear. I haven't felt real fear in centuries. This is older. Deeper. What kind of ritual?
They called it the Call of the Umbras.
The name hits me like a physical blow. Memories flood back, ancient texts in Ahan's restricted section, warnings about forces that existed before light, before dark, before reality learned how to be real. Tell me exactly what you saw. My voice sounds distant, even to myself. Mikey describes it in broken sentences. A gathering at an abandoned church. Symbols drawn in materials that hurt to look at. Chants in languages that taste like static. I recognize it all. The Fellowship isn't just working with shadow entities. They're trying to control them, harness them. Reality itself shivers at the thought. But in that shiver, I see opportunity. The Fellowship thinks they can control cosmic forces? Fine, two can play that game.
We have to stop them.
Mikey says, still trembling. I hide my smile. Yes, we do. As Mikey gathers what's left of his courage, I study the shadows writhing across the theater walls. They're moving with purpose now, forming patterns I recognize from those ancient texts, preparing for something. The Fellowship thought they could exile me, control me, write me out of their story. Time to show them what a real puppet master can do, even if I have to tear reality apart to do it.
Author's note. This story of the Marionette forced itself into my mind one night, appearing fully formed between heartbeats. Despite his supposed 400-year influence on history, I can find no records of his existence, no documents, no archives, nothing. It's as if something has carefully erased every trace of him. Even more disturbing, while writing this, I discovered passages in my drafts that I never wrote, all in his voice, all describing events I couldn't possibly know about. The shadows in my office move strangely now, forming shapes like puppet strings. I'm starting to wonder if the Marionette isn't just a character I'm writing about, but something that's writing itself into existence through me. What follows is the last transmission of someone who turned their blood into living computer code. The Bureau of Anomalous Containment and Research tried to suppress it, of course, but once data finds its way into the quantum networks, it's impossible to fully erase. I've done my best to reconstruct the sequence of events, though I suspect we'll never know the full truth of what Asset 2174 discovered in those Nevada facilities.
The Bureau of Anomalous Containment and Research doesn't like to lose test subjects, especially ones who can turn their blood into living computer code. They've been chasing me for 3 days now, ever since I escaped their Nevada facility. My veins burn with unwritten data, everything I saw, everything they did to us. Got to find the resistance before my heart gives out. Before BACR's cleanup teams catch up. My name is... No, names are too dangerous now. They called me binary in the facility. Asset 2174. Human USB drive. I used to be a data entry clerk in Omaha. Funny how life turns out. The event changed my blood into binary. Literal ones and zeros flowing through my arteries, carrying more than just oxygen now. When they found me, I was in the hospital. The doctors couldn't understand why my blood tests kept coming back as perfectly formatted computer code. BACR understood. They have whole wings dedicated to studying biotechnological manifestations. That's where I met the others. The woman who could process radio waves through her nervous system. The teenager whose tears contained quantum encryption keys. The old man who could read computer memory by touch. Most of them are dead now. Testing has a high mortality rate. I press my hand against the gas station bathroom mirror, watching code scroll through my veins like bioluminescent tattoos. My heart's beating too fast, each pulse sending corrupt data fragments through my system. The doctors said using my ability too much would kill me. They were right. But what I learned in that facility, it has to get out. Has to reach the resistance. The displacement underground, they call themselves. Led by someone named Raylyn Weaver. I've been trying to send them messages through every network I can access. But BACAR's quantum jamming makes it almost impossible to transmit cleanly. The gas station's ancient security camera whirs as I focus on it. My blood burns as I push data through my fingertips into the electrical system. It's crude, but it works. The camera's feed will carry my message through back channels I encoded into BACR's own surveillance network, a digital dead man switch. The bathroom door crashes open. Tactical team, full containment gear. They're getting smarter, using EMP shielding now. I can't hack their systems anymore.
Asset 2174.
The team leader says through his mask.
Stop transmitting and put your hands where I can see them.
I smile, tasting copper as blood vessels rupture in my gums. Too late. Dead man's switch is already active. Kill me, and everything goes public. Every experiment, every death, every dirty little secret I pulled from your servers while you thought I was sedated. He hesitates. Smart man. But not smart enough. He's still standing in a puddle of water from the leaky sink. I bite my tongue hard, letting binary-laced blood fill my mouth. One last transmission, straight through the water, into the building's electrical ground. My heart stutters as the data flows. Fatal exception errors cascade through my circulatory system. The team leader realizes what I'm doing a second too late.
Stop her.
But the data's already flowing, carried through the electrical grid, bouncing through buried cables and overhead lines. Everything I saw in the facility, everything they did to us, everything they're planning, all of it shooting towards every resistant safe house I could find addresses for. The last thing I see is my reflection in the mirror, code scrolling through my eyes like tears. My heart stops mid-transmission, but it doesn't matter. The message is sent. The dead man's switch is thrown. Someone will know what BACR really is. Someone will know what they're planning. The genetic cataloging, the power harvesting attempts, the reality manipulation experiments that killed 6 subjects last month alone. And most importantly, someone will know about Project Echo, their attempt to replicate the event, to control who gets powers and how they manifest, to reshape humanity according to their specifications. I hope Raylyn's people get the message in time. Hope they can decrypt what I've sent, the facility locations, the security protocols, the names of every BACR director and researcher involved. Hope it helps them save the others still trapped in there. My body's shutting down, code turning back to normal blood as my abilities fade. The tactical team's medic is trying to restart my heart, but we both know it's pointless. Can't reboot a corrupted system. The last bits of data trickle through my dying synapses. 01001001010001. I am free.
Author's note. In the months following this incident, BACR facilities across the country reported unprecedented system failures and data breaches. Security footage from the gas station never reached BACR servers. Instead, fragments of binary code appeared in resistance communication channels, carrying warnings about something called Project Echo. The gas station bathroom mirror was found to have a single line of code etched into its surface at the molecular level. They can't control what they don't understand. 2 stories about control. One spanning centuries, pulling reality's strings from the shadows. The other lasting just days, encoded in binary and blood. But both revealing pieces of something larger. Something that existed before separation, before distinction, before reality learned how to be real. I keep finding new passages in my drafts. Words that write themselves when I'm not looking. Sometimes they're in the Marionette's voice, describing events lost to history. Sometimes they're in pure binary, fragments of Asset 2174's final transmission. The shadows whisper that these stories are connected, though I haven't figured out how yet. What I do know is this. Every time I document another account, reality feels a little thinner, like tissue paper in the rain. The spaces between moments grow longer. The shadows gather in corners, forming shapes that shouldn't exist. Something is coming. Something that uses stories like doorways, narratives like roads. I just hope we're ready when it arrives. Until next time, I'm your narrator, and these are the Parallaxers.